Big week for Cleveland. Deshaun Watson is going to play this week. People feel certain kind of ways about it. But do you really know what's really going on? Do you really know the true story? Do you really know the ins and outs? Neither do I.
Oh, it's a juicy beat. Yeah.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Everette Man Show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Everette Man Show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Everette Man Show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Everette Man Show. Welcome to the show, cause you know I know. Keeping up with the flow of all sports. Who hitting in the ring, who balling on the field, who hitting them shots on the basketball courts. Of course, you know that I keep it updated from high school to pros. We see who gon' make it from 216 into 216 with a whole CD screen. We finally made it. Yes, we are the best and it's true. I know what you heard and I know what it do. 10 toes down my sword where you pound real, recognize real, and I recognize you. So we gon' keep it real with the facts. If you like that, grab a seat. You can sit back while I kick back with the winners. Keep it authentic. Give me 30 minutes, a couple shots, and a zigzag. This week, the story of Deshaun. Who is the true NFC contender? And is Brian going after Jerry Jones? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Everette Man Show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Everette Man Show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Everette Man Show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Everette Man Show. Welcome to the show this week. We're going to go ahead and get into what's going on with Deshaun Watson, man. Big week for Cleveland. Deshaun Watson is going to play this week. People feel certain kind of ways about it. But do you really know what's really going on? Do you really know the true story? Do you really know the ins and outs? Neither do I. But I do know a few things that let me know, and his demeanor. I seen his press conference when he just had it. I mean, he looked, to me, he looks like somebody, whatever happened, he doesn't feel like he did anything wrong. I can tell you that much. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because if you ain't do nothing wrong, then you didn't do nothing wrong. But if you did do something wrong, you can feel like that you didn't. Well, you know, you're a psychopath. That's kind of people that do that kind of stuff. So I'm just not getting that vibe off of him. Very likable. I think he shows good leadership. I'm not kind of seeing anything of what is being said, but then again, I'm not a woman, so maybe I don't pick up on those vibes. But even with that, there's a couple things that with his story that we're going to dip into. We also going to take a little look at why is Brian taking shots at Jerry Jones, or why is he bringing Jerry Jones up? Well, to some of y'all that may seem out of question or out of field. But to me, it was dead on. It was a dead spot on. It's something that, you know, my community talk about all the time. And I was just living proof. And we'll get into that a little bit later, too. Plus, we're going to talk about who is the true NFC contender. We all kind of know in the AFC, it might be a toss-up, but it's a toss-up of powerhouses. Like, we all know that it's probably going to be Kansas City or Buffalo. And we know that Kansas City, Buffalo, if Baltimore was to squeak in, Miami even could get in there and do it, they're going to win. Like, the AFC is stronger than the NFC by a mile. But who was they going to play? I mean, there's a couple teams that's in there that we could be looking at, but who was they going to play? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, let's go ahead and get ready for this first one. I'm going to break it all down for you and tell you the true story about Deshaun Watson. And then, at least fan or not, you will have more to go on, because I know a lot of us just hear these stories just walking by them. You know what I'm saying? You might see something in your phone or somebody talking about it, so you don't really get all of the details. But I'm going to give you enough of the factual details. I'm not going to get into too much opinion, but enough of the factual details to just say, hey, it is or it ain't. You know what I'm saying? I already showed you he was an elite quarterback, a great quarterback. But let's get into why people are looking at Deshaun that way they're looking at. How did he find himself in this position in the first place? If he's, you know, who he says he is, which is innocent. All right? So we're getting right into that. All right, so who is Deshaun Watson, and what's all of this talk about? Like, if you don't know him from Adam, he's just a football player, he's a quarterback, and he got black skin. That's all you pretty much know. It's a lot of hype around him, and he abused women. That's what you know. Or that's what's being said. But who is Deshaun Watson? Well, Deshaun Watson started off, he was a all-American pro, you know, quarterback. You know, he got that story. Come up from hard times. You know, he didn't have a lot, humble beginnings. Mother as a cancer survivor. You know, he got a deep story. You can go ahead and check it out if you're into that. Goes through high school, no problems. Model, you know what I'm saying? Model student, model citizen, everything you're looking for. Gets into Clemson, turned down offers from other colleges like Alabama and Ohio State and these other big powerhouses. Went to Clemson, took him to a national championship twice, beat Alabama to win one championship. Then he got into the pros. So what do we know about Deshaun Watson in the pros? Well, Deshaun Watson started off in the pros as a pro with a lot of promise, a lot of potential. Came in off the bat, you could tell what kind of talent this kid had. You know what I'm saying? Once again, Demeanor was good. Nobody really seen any problems with him. Nobody had said anything to him. Nobody had heard anything bad about him. And then all of a sudden, one day, he has a bad game or loses a game in Texas, and the superintendent of Texas schools, makes a remark about, well, that's what you get when you get a black quarterback. Alluding something to the brain power of Deshaun Watson, because he was a black quarterback. He couldn't figure out a way to win, basically. That was Deshaun's kind of first taste of Texas kind of showing him that racial side in a public display like that. And we all know Texas got its ways. Texas is a place that race matters very much. Some places not so much. All places I think race matter, but some places not as much. Texas is one of the places where it does. Whether it's Latin Americans, Mexicans, if you speak Spanish in Texas, you basically, you get treated a certain way, or some hurdles you got to go through. Black people hurdles you got to go through. Stuff with Texas. But that being said, the state of Texas, people love it. I got family that live in Texas, and I know people from Texas, and some of my favorite rap groups is from Texas, and they love it. They didn't move. They didn't leave. Laws is good, so Texas is Texas. So Deshaun Watson continues on through the pros, plays about another year or two. He gets into about his fourth year, fourth year. 2017, 2018 is when the superintendent made that remark. Around 2019, 2020, Deshaun starts speaking up more about what it is to be a black quarterback, intelligence level, things of that nature, kind of addressing some of the issues, trying to change perceptions, speaking a little bit more strongly as a black quarterback, more on black principles and being a black man, more so than maybe especially a state like Texas will want him to kind of be on the racial thing. So that was like 2019, 2020. And then he played his last game in 21, sat out the season in January of 2021. Sat out the season because he didn't like what was going on with the Texans. The owner made a remark that him and a lot of people, like myself included, felt was racial, as he said that this was around the Kaepernick time, that you can't let the inmates run the asylum, referring to a majority black team, his black players as inmates, because he doesn't see them as people. That's the perception that was took. That's how we all took it. From there, it became all bad. All right, Deshaun said, look, I don't want to play here no more. It was some other stuff going on in the organization that Deshaun said, hey, I don't want to be here. I want to leave. Sat out, didn't play the next season. After that, this model citizen, role model kid who hadn't had any prior complaints or anything about who he was as a person, period, all of a sudden comes up with multiple sexual allegations from masseuse, who said that during their time with him, something else, he would ask for extras or demand extras or, whatever. It's about 25 women so far. Instant guilt as far as most public was concerned. After the first two, guilt. As they piled on because of the numbers, guilt. He's guilty. Deshaun still carries himself like he did nothing wrong and that he's not guilty. Now, what they don't tell you when they talk about this, they keep the Texans out of it. And the Texans had a very interesting role in this whole massage, fiasco with these women. When the Texans drafted Deshaun Watson, apparently one of them got a whiff or got a hint that, he liked massages with happy endings, or, that's what they're saying. So these allegations, when they came up to the Texans said, well, no. Instead of us saying, hey, young man, you in our organization, this is the way that you do things on a professional level. You don't do that, blah, 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 whatever stance they wanted to take. They said kind of what I just said, but in a different way. They said, hey, if that's what you want to do, this is how you do it. We'll set up this place for you, these appointments. They basically aided them, which is why they had to end up paying the women and getting sued as well. Deshaun Watson now is looked at as this deviant when really there's no evidence other than him having a fetish that he did anything wrong. The same fetish that Bob Kraft's got, Deshaun Watson may have. I mean, the same fetish that we know why massage parlors are so heavily watched, because there is a thin line of what can go on at a massage parlor to make it legal or illegal. And everyone knows this. All adults know this. For some reason, Deshaun Watson is looked at as this scoundrel of a person now because of these allegations. Allegations that, once again, Texas grand jury did not find him guilty of to the point where they could punish him. Texas, all right? Texas has no problem hanging anybody or sending them to the chair or justice, especially if you're a person of color. So for him to get off in Texas, to me, was like, oh, okay. Because when it first came out, like everybody else, I said, okay, let's see where this is about to go. I'm not a person that believes a lot of numbers really matter. I mean, if you did something, you did it. It don't take 20 times for it to be bad. It's bad the first time you do it. So if the first person that comes through is credible and it's a valid story, I don't need to hear about the other 25. I mean, they can be compensated and everything if that's what happened, but I only need one. And apparently this grand jury, these two grand juries, and didn't hear enough, so they didn't, press any charges. Deshaun Watson was eligible to come back and play football. Well, to play football, period, because he never got suspended. He was never anything like that. He just simply sat out for a year. Deshaun Watson comes back, and the NFL says, okay, but we don't need you on TV. We need to suspend you. They go through their own. He says, I'm going to fight it because I didn't do anything, and, you shouldn't be able to suspend me and take my money away. The Browns got him on a trade where they paid him guaranteed money, like basketball numbers, $230 million or something like that, which I had everybody, especially in Cleveland, which is one of the poorest, if not the poorest state in the country. $230 million? What? Like, he better be what? And he did what? Like, it got crazy. Fans are mixed and it's all split up and it's all this confusion and people don't know how to act. And then you see him on this press conference and it's like, for me, I don't get it. I don't see it. I don't see the guilt. He either has to be a soulless psychopath or a person of innocence, because he is not, it doesn't seem like he did anything wrong. I go back to the Texans on this. If they did, they said, this is how you do it. So, of course, he didn't do anything wrong. Why would he think he did something wrong? If he was doing something wrong, when the Texans first got wind of it, the organization that's supposed to mold these young men, then they would have gone ahead and said, hey, this is not what you do, and we don't want any part of this. But that's not what they did. They said, hey, this is pretty normal. A lot of people do this. Robert Kraft was in a ring with other people. We all know what's going on. So here Deshaun is now, about to come back from a suspension that he had to face and pay a fine, about to step onto the field. Now, in all of this, the one thing that's gotten forgotten is how great of a football player he is, because some people just don't care. He's guilty. But why is he guilty? And if he is guilty, he should pay the crime. But why is he guilty? Because you wanted him to be guilty. You want him to be guilty. That's all it is. There's been no evidence other than him maybe having a fetish, which, okay, only Deshaun Watson has a fetish. Nobody else in the world. Right. So why all the hatred towards him and all of this? The man just liked to have a good time. I think that it was a money grab for me personally. But without getting into all of that, Deshaun Watson is coming back to play football now. And I say give him a chance, Cleveland. I say fans, give him a chance. Let's see what he do on the field. That's what he's here for, is to play football. There's been no problems with him. I haven't heard of any problems with him. This is the only problem he's had in his life. And we're going to touch on something a little bit later, but can't you have a mistake? How long does he have to live down a mistake, or for even being in a situation? He has to live with this forever, because everybody don't live with what happened in the past forever or what they go through. Ben Roethlisberger didn't get that treatment. He got 4 game suspension, and he had 2 accusations 2 years in a row, and other issues. Brett Favre has some stuff going on. There's been a lot of players who had stuff going on, but it's never talked about and it's never really brought up, or it's kind of pushed under the rug, or it's defended. I was just on my Facebook in one of our Browns groups, and I put a clip up, and somebody, a female said, why you got to bring Ben Roethlisberger into it? But it's like it's the same thing. So why are you trying to push what Ben Roethlisberger did to the side, but you want to hold Deshaun Watson to this higher caliber? They're both quarterbacks. They both in the NFL. Between the two of them, Deshaun is the one that has the squeaky clean pass. You know what I'm saying? Up until this point. But we can't talk about being Roethlisberger or Brett Favre or anybody else who had problems. But when it's a black, and I don't like to do this all the time, but when it's black, it's black. You know what I'm saying? So now Deshaun Watson got to go through all of this extra simply because he's a black man. He plays quarterback and he's getting $230 million. And for most people in America, that's an extremely large amount of money. And there are some Americans who feel like a black man should never make that much money. And it's always going to be a problem. So love it or like it, or in the words of the immortal Ric Flair, if you don't like it, learn to love it. Deshaun Watson is an elite quarterback. He played for the Browns, and that's what it is now. Put all your personal feelings to the side. Let that man live his life. Be right back at you. All right, so now that hopefully that's out your system and out the way, if you're still with me, then you must be recognizing that what we really here to talk about is football and how Deshaun Watson plays football. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes in life, it gives you a little bit of a treat, give you a little bit of a present. And Deshaun Watson was a present to the Browns. The Browns right now have a great running game. They fifth in the league in offense. What they needed help was a passing game. What the Browns always needed help was with a quarterback. We now have a quarterback, a true elite quarterback, right? I keep saying that. I'm drilling that into your heads because it's the truth. We got a strong run game, strong offense, which the league itself is more offensive. You look at the top teams in the league, you got to have offense. Defense not going to do it no more. Sorry, old school. Sorry, fellas. Sorry, all of y'all traditionalists. A strong defense in the run game will have you with the building blocks to a good team. But if you don't have a quarterback in the offense that can score you 35 to 40 points every week, you're not going to win the championship. You know why? Because no defense is stopping a potent offense in this era. It's not what it's built for. Now, football is built for your offense to score, and the defense is kind of playing against the clock. The defense is just trying to really see how many stops they can get. If they can stop you, if you got 7 or 8 drives in a game, 13 drives in a game, and they can stop you out of 13, they can stop you 8 times, that still give you a couple drives to score. And if you're a potent offense, you can turn those other 5 drives into 35, 40 points. And if you got a decent defense, they can tackle on some points. But you got to have that offense. The problem with the Browns that we've been having right now, a lot of people think it's defense. No. You're just looking at it through an old school lens. The game now is geared towards offense. How great is Kansas City's defense? Exactly. But they're perennial Super Bowl picks and favorites and getting to the Super Bowl. How good is Cincinnati's defense? But they made it to the Super Bowl last year. High-powered offense, elite quarterback. Tom Brady, one of the greatest QBs of all time, was probably the last quarterback to win because he had a team with a great defense. Even the Rams, when they beat the Bengals last year for the Super Bowl, and they had a great defense, right? But that offense is what they needed. They had to put points up because their defense alone, you seen how many points Cincinnati put up? Their defense alone wasn't going to be able to do it. So I say all that to come into why the Browns going to be successful with Deshaun. The Browns, you got Chubb, Hunt, Njoku, Cooper, Donte Peoples-Jones, who's going to be more of a problem now. You got Deshaun Watson. You got one of the best lines in the lines in the NFL, offensive lines in the NFL. When you put all those components together and look at what Jacoby Brissett was able to do and get us into the 20-yard line of red zone, right? Deshaun coming away with points. A lot of times Brissett didn't come away with points. And I know everybody giving Brissett a lot of praise, and I understand that, and it's really because those people are just sad to see Deshaun have to take over. They don't like the fact that Deshaun taking over. So they're going to heap praise on Brissett when if that was Baker Mayfield and we were sitting at a 4-7 record, you'd be talking about we need to fire him and the entire coaching staff and they need to sell the team and everything else. Deshaun going to be able to fill that void. That's what I'm saying about that. Let's get to the next topic. Buck the system. You can't tell me that Ohio State don't deserve to be in the college football playoffs. They've been in one of the best 4 teams all year. Ohio State definitely better be in those college football playoffs. And you know what? Because TCU and LSU lost, Alabama probably going to get the nod and should get into the playoffs. As far as a Georgia, a Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, if you put all of the 4 of them in the playoffs this year, regardless of the outcome, it'll be one of the biggest playoffs ever. Yo, we're going to have a music break, and then I'll see y'all in a minute.
Living the same dream, chasing the same cream, walking these streets, seeking the same thing. I baby chase the face of dead presidents, money, power, respect reside in my residence. Ever since young age, dead with a razor blade, pumping the gauge, and blaze, just in a drunken rage. Y'all ain't ready for the murderous waves. Y'all gon' fall a shot, AK spit, pavement, cover the bullet, the same matter. Play best, check your bro, cause I hutter. Hustle all night to meet my quota. Got a mother smoking a white, I suffer. Never gon' fall, ain't part of the game plan. Same man, true to the game, ain't gon' maintain. Surrounded by killers who ain't got no shame. More hate in my hood than the people explain. How can I stand without using the cane? Every killer brother when the jealousy came. Another day went by, another mother had to cry, but I guess it's just part of the game. So now, living on a mission to further my position, insisting on spitting, destroying the competition. Good fellas gon' heat till the gas explode. That's the way we roll.
This is how we roll every single day. This is all we know it. Women and money. Hey, that's all you want. You can't get with me. Things will never change, cause this is how we be. This is how we roll every single day. This is all we know it. Women and money. Hey, that's all you want. You can't get with me. Things will never change, cause this is how we be.
All right, welcome back after that little quick break. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of music. Yeah, that's one of the groups I was in back in the day. I couldn't really get my musical guests together this week, so I just went ahead and threw some of my old jams on, put some ads up. Hope you liked it. You know what I'm saying? But let's move on. Who y'all think would be an interesting Super Bowl? Like right now, if you looked at the league, who you think would be an interesting Super Bowl? You know what I think an interesting and possible Super Bowl could be, but nobody's going to buy it when I bring it up or I say it, except for the fans of those teams, and it's for a very valid reason why nobody is going to buy it. I think the Miami Dolphins and the Philadelphia Eagles could make it to the Super Bowl. Nobody would care, and nobody would care. Yeah, that's right. Miami Dolphins versus the Philadelphia Eagles. This could be the Super Bowl. Why can't it? These are two great teams. I'm going to prove that. I'm going to prove that these are two great teams that should and could be in the Super Bowl. But nobody's going to believe it. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to be saying, yeah, this is who I'm picking other than fans of the Eagles and Miami. And we're going to get to that reason right now. But let me show you these teams and why they could be in the Super Bowl. Look at these teams. Look at them matched up. You got the Miami Dolphins with one of the most high-powered offenses this season that we've seen in a long time. Tua, with those two receivers, the Waddle and Hill, are lighting defenses up. They got the first and the fifth receiver in the NFL, so that means passing attack is crazy. Third total offense, second ranked in passing. Tua himself is 8-1 as a starter. 8-1 this year. That's pretty good. And they are beating teams by a difference of 26 points. In football in the NFL. And that's not because their defense is holding teams to a low amount. They're scoring a lot of points. And we've seen, like last year, if you got an offense that clicks, Cincinnati Bengals, you might find yourself in the Super Bowl. Then we look over here at the Eagles. Best record in the NFL, fourth total offense. So they good. Second ranked defense too. This is an all-around team. Turnover ratio, they're first. And they got the third ranked rushing attack. So not only are they a good offense, they're a great defense. You know what I'm saying? They cause the turnovers. They're keeping you down. You know, the defense is holding you down. The offense is keeping the team up. They third rank in rushing, which is they can possess and manage the clock if they need to, right? They're doing everything that you need to do to win. But what aren't they doing? What are neither one of these teams doing to convince us that this could be a Super Bowl matchup? Well, that all go to the quarterback, baby. We don't believe in these quarterbacks. None of us. None of us believe that Jalen Hurts or Tua can beat Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Tom Brady, even Jimmy G. Nobody believes that these quarterbacks can beat either one of those teams when they count in the playoffs. That's why nobody will look at them and say this could be a Super Bowl matchup, especially the Dolphins. And the Dolphins, for real, they look like they could do it. But nobody's going to believe that. They're going to have to prove it. The Eagles look great. Look great in a bad conference, in a weaker conference. It's still not a lot of people that's going to pick the Eagles as currently constructed and what they do over the Dallas Cowboys or the San Francisco 49ers. And there are even those who, if the Philadelphia Eagles have to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, are going to say, I never bet against Brady. I'm one of those people. I'm not going against Brady for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts going to have to show me something. He's going to have to show me. Great team, great season, great. But that's over with coming to playoffs. Y'all going to have to earn it. That's why nobody will believe that y'all can make it to the Super Bowl. All right? So y'all going to have to earn it. Tua and Hurts. And I'm not even going to lie. Although I would want my Browns, my beloved Browns, to make the Super Bowl if I had a choice, I wouldn't mind seeing the Super Bowl. I think this would be a great Super Bowl. But it's not going to be. Because one of those teams is not going to make it there. Both of those teams probably not going to make it. But one team in particular is not going to make it. That's the Philadelphia Eagles. Because although their record says that they are the best, they're not the best. The best team in the NFC is the San Francisco 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers, to me, is the best team in the NFC when it comes down to it. When it really get down to it and we get into the playoffs and teams have to really play and look at the tape and been scheming and practicing and really got to put it on the line, give me the San Francisco 49ers over the Philadelphia Eagles. Give me them over the Dallas Cowboys. I think the San Francisco 49ers are going to go the Niners, baby. Yes. This ain't the Joe Montana era, I know. This ain't the Steve Young era, I know. But Jimmy G, Shanahan, 49ers, that equals win, baby. That equals wins. And they've shown us that they are a team that can go to the Super Bowl. They can go to the championship game. Them two together. Why would you even want to have Trey Lance? I mean, for an insurance policy, I guess. You know. But why would you want to get rid of Jimmy G? Do you see the magic that happened when Jimmy G and Shanahan play? And it's not even like Jimmy G lighting nobody up. He just knows how to run Shanahan's offense. And he's such a great game manager that when he's able to play, because he's fragile, they win. You don't mess that up. You don't mess that up. And I have more faith in the 49ers, that defense is going to start clicking at the right time. The receivers, the playmakers they got. Hurts going to have to show me something in the playoffs to get past the 49ers. I'm saying it right now. The San Francisco 49ers, I think they're going to beat Miami, and they're going into the Super Bowl this year. They might. They have the team where they could win, but they could beat anybody. They really could. But Jimmy G not beating Patrick Mahomes. You seen what happened last time that happened? I don't know if he'll beat Josh Allen, but we know the history of the Buffalo Bills is that they choke, so can't put that out. If they were to play somebody like the Bengals or somebody like that slip through again, then yeah, they got a great shot. But in the NFC, give me the San Francisco 49ers over Tampa Bay, over Philadelphia, over any team that you want to name, even Dallas. Give them to me. San Francisco 49ers, baby. Now, here's a story that came out of nowhere. Jerry Jones in this picture, and then LeBron bringing it up. And now it's like, is Jerry Jones a racist? People are saying, this is another example of Jerry Jones and white power structures. And, it kind of is. I mean, I'm not saying Jerry Jones is racist. I don't think that. But racial bias is definitely a problem in this country. And Jerry Jones, his photo, the reaction, the acceptance, the willingness to look past it, besides him being a rich white man, why? Nobody else does. Nobody else gets a pass. Jerry Jones, I know he went and attacked it kind of head on and said it was his curiosity. So what? You was there. I'm going to show the photo because to me, I'm going to show the photo and then I'll say what I think about it, right? So this is the photo. This is at a school in Little Rock. This is like a famous photo. And as you can see, Jerry Jones is back here and is in the back looking over. He kind of just got a face of, like he said, he was curious. He went down there, he back there with the reporters. He just kind of seeing what's going on with this confrontation. I mean, he not one of the three kids in the front who is like with the cigarette. Like who knows what they doing nowadays if they still alive. But this photo and what this shows is very significant because Jerry Jones in this photo is just a little 14-year-old kid in Little Rock, Arkansas. Right? Come on back on screen. Jerry Jones today is one of the most powerful men in the world. He's a rich billionaire. He has a lot of influence, a large platform. He controls, a lot of business ventures. The Dallas Cowboys is the most successful sports brand. This is a man with true access to things. Jerry Jones can make a lot of things shake. Now, why would LeBron bring this up? LeBron played basketball. This is a football owner. This used to be LeBron's favorite team. Then it wasn't after the whole Colin Kaepernick situation. And then you use Kyrie. Why you bring Kyrie into this? It's simple. Kyrie posted something that he seen out of curiosity. He watched it. He thought it had a good vibe, and other people who might be curious about it, you should check it out. Now, in this movie, it had some things that went against some of those people who are in power and said some things that offended some people. Let me go back to this photo. Jerry Jones is standing he didn't know it at this time, but a monumental photo that is offensive to people. Okay, the fact that he's in this photo is very offensive. And then to see who he became. And this is what come back. Let me come on back on screen because I got to look at y'all for this. This is why when race is brought up and white folks try to get nonchalant about it, like that happened so long ago or that was a long time ago, it was in Jerry Jones' lifetime that the Civil Rights Act, took place. Jerry Jones is now a rich and white, powerful man in America and in the world. He was a kid then. He's an elder now. It ain't been that much time. And Jerry Jones is just one of the many white Americans who were living at that time, who had direct contact and change and influence over the way things are going, that are still living today. So it ain't been that long, America. Slavery was not that long ago. Slavery was a couple generations ago. 9 times out of 10, your great-great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents for me would be my grandparents' grandparents. Were close to slavery in some shape, form, or fashion. Either their parents had just maybe came out of slavery, maybe some of them were slaves, depending on their age. It ain't been that long ago. So a lot of those prejudice, a lot of those racial things that we are just now getting to really talk about and speak about, and the protests and Kaepernick taking the knee, and then the cop that took the knee on forgive me for forgetting his name right now, George Floyd, for laying on his knee. This is all in a relative short life, in a relative short span. You know what I'm saying? This is within one lifetime. This has all happened while Jerry Jones was alive. The significance of what that photo shows is look where he's at now and what influence and change he could have or could have had. Now, I don't know if Jerry Jones was on the back end, sliding Martin Luther King or Malcolm X checks in order to move the civil rights movement together because of that very scene. That scene could have changed his life, but I've never heard about it. Now, from everybody that speaks about Jerry Jones, he's a great man. He's a cool dude. Michael Irvin and all them love him when they see him on TV. He has no problem making black people rich. So, that's got to go for something. It's up to them what they do with the money, but he writes the check. Didn't he just give Dak Prescott hundreds of millions of dollars? Jerry Jones, maybe that photo was the reason that he's willing to pay black players. I don't know. But what I do know is We can't always judge to call somebody racial or racist. However, racial bias is very prevalent in America, and we see how it gets treated. When it's someone of theirs or it's something that offends them, the onus on us to be accountable, to stand up for it, to make better changes. I haven't heard anybody demand that Jerry Jones, due to that photo, tell the whole story or apologize to black folks. And plus with the Kaepernick situation, of the way that he did that, some people looked at that kind of side eye, or the fact that in his businesses, they say that not a lot of black people have been elevated to high payroll positions. I haven't seen anybody challenge him or bring that up or take him to task on it like they did with Kyrie, and was going to make him apologize to the Jewish community and go through all this and that. And we heard about it every day. No, this is exactly why LeBron brought it up. And this is exactly why black people look at everything through a racial lens, because we see it every day. And even some of y'all still won't see it. Look at Deshaun Watson. He's been proven guilty of nothing. But there were some people who, the moment they thought he was guilty before he even had a crime. Jerry Jones right there is in an offensive picture. I understand he was young and he was a kid and it was just curiosity, but it's an offensive picture to us, and to know where he sits at and what he did or could have done throughout these years as he's building his empire and using black players. Yeah, thanks for the black wealth that you've given some of these players, but you could have did more, because you were at a very pivotal moment in racial society, in racial time, and you know what I'm saying, the civil rights, and you experienced that. You seen it close hand. Nobody's asking him how he felt about it. Nobody's asking him how to change his life. I don't hear anything other than, hey, Jerry, was that you in the picture? Oh, you was curious? Good enough for us? Nah, that don't work for us, so it shouldn't work for you. I'll be back after this.
Drink, yak, smoke, sex, crunch holes for 6 packs. Got a knack for kicking game. It go barack when I let it rain. It's the flaming sword. Quick to slice a nigga vocal cords. Cause we don't wanna hear that bullshit no more. I pimp gators, walk through the door. Ho, see the kid is a giant. Look up when she talk to me, she like a Hoover replying. Best believe her double D's took my mind off the grind. But then again, on second thought, that shit just wasting my time. So it's back to dimes and nicks, whole bricks and slabs. 22s on the truck, 22 in the mag. The boy is back, no permission slip, disrupting the class. Take you on a trip like popping pills from my stash. Laugh now, cry later. Fuck all y'all haters. Ain't none of y'all bitches about getting no paper. I'ma make shit greater, recognize when I see you. You will wear skirts to be famous like fucking Medea.
Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, double dollar click. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. Yeah.
And it's the invitation. You and your niggas is an imitation. The real G's. Peep the game from TC's to Lee's. Keep the trees, please. When he make your block freeze. Just a few degrees. Now I brought it back and they can't fuck with me. Can't see me now. Have to ask the question, can you see me? How Capone, Young Money. Brought it back in them file. Play the game like chess. Consult the rule book. Have your whole clique shook. With no clues, nor a trace. Spit the rhyme in your face to burn your eyes like Mason.
All right, let's go ahead and check out how my picks was last week. Turkey Day recap. We went ahead and we got the Dallas Cowboys and we got the Buffalo Bills correct, because I figured they was going to win. Good games. Patriots went ahead and took that L against Minnesota. I was kind of thinking that they was going to be able to edge Minnesota out, but Minnesota is proven to be a little bit better than what people may have thought. Let's go ahead and check out those other 6 games that I did. My other pick six. So it looked like I was right with the Browns, wrong on the Bengals, surprisingly. San Fran did what I thought they were supposed to do. I knew that the Steelers, Tom New had to outcoach Saturday. Baltimore, disappointing, man. Y'all sliding. And then we got the Eagles. They went ahead and handled Green Bay. Go ahead and put their season to an end. Aaron Rodgers, it's time to move on. That bring my record up to 15-12. I did 9 games last week instead of 6 because I was at 9-9, which gave me a little bit of an edge this week. 15-12, baby. Not too bad. Let's look at this AFC North. You know what I'm saying? AFC North strong. That's what we do over here. Baltimore, Bengals at the top of the division, both got 7-4 wins. Now things is getting interesting now because they're 7-4 wins with 6 games left. It's anybody's division for real. even Baltimore, even Pittsburgh and the Browns got a chance, depending on how they finish out the season. I give the Browns a real good chance of going 6-0, 10-7. 10-7 might be what win this division. Not to mention, if the Browns go 10-7, that means they have to beat the Bengals another time. They have to beat the Steelers, and they have to beat Baltimore at least once. So that'll give them like a 5-1 record in the division. That's pretty good, and that give them chances to get in the playoffs. Also, the way Baltimore have been playing, they might be sliding out of here. I mean, they seem to be kind of falling apart and disintegrating before our eyes. We seen it earlier on in the year that the defense wasn't what we typically see from Baltimore. And then last week to the Jaguars. I mean, I knew that Trevor Lawrence could have a field day on them, but I figured Baltimore would still pull it out. Lamar, man, I want to see you get paid, but you gotta show it. I mean, for real, you kind of a not a typical quarterback. You got to kind of show that you're worth that money, man. You got to. The Bengals sitting right there at 7-4. Now I do think that the Bengals is finally starting to hit their stride, and Jamar Chase is coming back. That offense is something that's to be reckoned with. Still, the offensive line still gives no time for Joe Burrows, which is their biggest Achilles heel. But Joe Burrows is just that great. He's that good of a quarterback that he kind of can overcome it. So it should be real spicy going towards the end of this season in this division. The one thing about the Browns, I don't think the NFL feels like it's in their best benefit or best interest to have the Browns in any national televised games. So that definitely means that we might see the refs, doing a little bit of work to try and make these games a lot tougher for the Browns in these last 6 to make sure that they're not in the playoffs, because I don't think the NFL wants Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns on any national syndicated TV, this year. They just don't want that. So that's our recap that's our look at the AFC North strong. It's real interesting. I said 3 weeks ago, it's like every 3 weeks you never know in this division because nobody's pulling away. And here we is. Last time I said 3 weeks, we are at the 3rd week right now. And depending on what Baltimore, the Bengals, and the Browns do, things can get real interesting. Real interesting. All right, let's take a look at our top 7 on the AFC, our top 14 rather, top 7 on the AFC and NFC side. AFC, we got the Kansas City Chiefs, Miami Dolphins, Tennessee Titans, Baltimore Ravens, the Bengals, Buffalo, and the Jets. We kind of seeing a little shiftiness going around where you see like the Jets in 1 week, Patriots in 1 week. We probably coming to the end of that where those, we won't see the Patriots too much anymore. I think that's kind of about to fall to the wayside. Still a good team, but I don't know if they're going to be back in the hunt. Jets is well coached, so ain't no telling. They may squeak into the playoffs, or then again, depending on what the AFC North do, it could be real interesting right there because they have 2 teams already in playoff contention. Could be a third, depending on how the season ends. Now, the one thing going against the Browns is that, in particular, who could be trying to make a playoff push, is that they lost every game this year to the AFC East. So that means the Jets or the Patriots or the Bills, whoever, would take that spot from them probably, unless they just flat out win the division. So that's really the Browns' kind of only chance is to win the division and beat Baltimore, get a split with Baltimore, and go ahead and take a 2-0 sweep over the Bengals, and hopefully that 10-7 record will be strong enough in our division. We're looking at the NFC top 7. You got the Eagles, Minnesota, San Fran, Tampa Bay, New York Giants, Dallas, and then you got the Seahawks back there. Over here, once again, it's kind of like the AFC. At this time of year, we always see, teams and divisions kind of starting to feel their way out and really start making headway. As you can see right here, that the South, the NFC South, is absolutely the worst division. So they're only going to send one person, one team, which leaves a lot of room because we might see 3 NFC East teams. And that could happen. I do believe the Cowboys is going to make it. I'm not sold on the Giants, but they could squeeze in. Philly, I think, is a lock at this point. We all can say that they're in the playoffs and probably in the championship game. Minnesota, the division is yours, man. There's no winning teams in your division, so we know that you're going to be there. It's just, I think, first round exit, depending on who you play. San Fran, I think that's the best. That's the cream of the crop in the NFC. San Fran, to me, looks like that they will be able to beat Dallas or the Eagles, even Tampa Bay, and go ahead and make it to the Super Bowl. So, to me, San Fran is still the best team in the NFC, and I think that they're going to make a good, strong push at the end of this season because that's kind of what they do lately, right? All right, so what's my predictions for next week? You see it right there. We're going Browns over the Texans. We're going Kansas City over the Bengals. Philly over the Titans. Atlanta, let me get the Falcons over the Steelers. Broncos over Baltimore. And San Fran over one of the premier games this week of Miami versus San Fran. Possible Super Bowl matchup. Now, out of these teams, the Browns winning, Baltimore and the Ravens losing would be a lot of changes would happen. You know, really tighten things up in that division. So there's a big week for the AFC North just as far as standings go, because after this, 2 games apart, 5 games left, it's anybody's division. All right, so those are my predictions for next week. We'll see if I am a genius or a jackass. 2 picks and a possible every week. You know, I give you 2 fantasy players to look for and then a possible. This week it's all about the Browns. I think that the Browns are going to go out here, and Deshaun's game coming back, he's going to try and make a statement. So give me quarterback Deshaun Watson. I think he's going to try and put up huge numbers on the Texans, but he's going to be a little bit cautious because he don't want to mess it up. But I can see him trying to, really give it to the Texans this week. And in order to do that, of course, you're going to have Nick Chubb. But if you don't already have him on your roster, I don't even know if you should be playing fantasy. I mean, how could that not be? But Amari Cooper and Donovan Peoples-Jones would be receivers. If Njoku plays, he may be, he'll get a touchdown and a couple catches too. But look for Deshaun Watson to really open up this passing game behind that strong run game of the Browns. And pretty much I think not any player, but most skilled players on the Browns will probably have a decent chance of having a good day today. Especially Amari Cooper. I think we're going to see him top 100 yards. Donovan Peoples, we might see a breakout game for him today where he goes for like 80 yards and a touchdown. Or maybe, 100 yards. He doesn't really do volume catches, but he does enough. And he does big play catches. And Amari Cooper, he can just, with Donovan, I'm real excited to see those 2 play together because Amari Cooper is a good receiver, a standout receiver, and this will be the best quarterback he's ever played with, I believe. Yeah, because, David Carr, I would definitely go ahead and start them. All right, thanks for coming. That do it for another week of the show. Before we get out of here, shout out to Glenville for winning that state championship over here. Shout out to the Cavs for continuing in winning ways. Got a game today. Go ahead and we can go, 15, 16 wins, looking in good shape, Cavs. I like what y'all doing. Mobley really picking it up. But until the next time, you ain't got to go home, but I got to get out of here.
Oh, it's a juicy beat. Yeah.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Everette Man Show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Everette Man Show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Everette Man Show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Everette Man Show.
Welcome to the show, cause I know. Keeping up with the flow of all sports. Who hitting in the ring, who balling on the field, who hitting them shots on the basketball courts. Of course, you know that I keep it updated from high school to pros. We see who gon' make it from 216 into 216. With a whole city screen, we finally made it. Yes, we are the best and it's true. I know what you heard and I know what it do. 10 toes down my sword, where you pound real, recognize real, and I recognize you. So, we gon' keep it real with the facts. If you like that, grab a seat. You can sit back while I kick back with the winners. Keep it authentic. Give me 30 minutes, a couple shots, and a zigzag. This week, the story of Deshaun. Who is the true NFC contender? And is Brian going after Jerry Jones?
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Everette Man Show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Everette Man Show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Everette Man Show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Everette Man Show.